Hey everybody, welcome to Real United States and welcome to the Science Technology Expo here at the Walter T. Washington Convention Center in downtown Washington, D.C. And boy, is there a lot of people here for this. Now this is an expo to promote STEM education. Now STEM is an acronym that means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it's to promote education for young people, children, and young adults in the sciences, in mathematics and engineering, to help foster our next generation of scientists and engineers. And there are exhibits here from all kinds of major brands. I saw one from Lockheed Martin. There's the National Science Foundation is here, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, because that has a special place in our heart. And also NASA is here, and there's all kinds of things. And they're here to actually make demonstrations, performances, lectures, all kinds of stuff going on. And I just wanted to do this introduction here from up in the mezzanine to give you some kind of a perspective of just how many representatives and how many people are here. It's just absolute pandemonium, but everybody seems to be very, very excited about it. So come on down and let's take a look and we'll see what we can find at this year's Science and Technology Expo in downtown Washington, D.C. Now, I mentioned in the opening that the National Science Foundation was represented here and that they had a special place in our heart. Well, I'm going to tell you why. Beverly actually was a recipient of a scholarship for 2 years from the National Science Foundation when we lived down in Florida, and was able to study out at the Kennedy Space Center to receive her degree in aerospace technology. Yes, Beverly really is a rocket scientist, not just a cinematographer. Anyway, so I wanted to take a moment here to show you this display from the National Science Foundation. Of course, no expo on science and technology would be complete without the National Science Foundation. So we're glad to see them, and we're going to go in and we're going to take a look around.
Right? So it happens right now. And as they get this, the information and they start searching, they move outward and they appear green on this screen. And so they're doing work, and then they move back when they're done, but they're not quite done. All they've done is search locally for the points of interest. They have to share the points of interest with the central location. They turn blue and they move out again when they do that. And then when the information is all aggregated in one place, then it appears on your screen at home, but also on my screen here. And so what you're seeing then is a visualization of a Google search.
They've managed to move an entire weather station into the convention center. Now this is DOW, the Doppler on wheels. Now for those of you that have heard about Doppler radar for weather forecasting and those sorts of things, that's what this is. This is a full, complete weather station. It's got a radar on it. It has an anemometer. It's got all kind of sensors up on the top of this telescoping mask that they can raise and lower. So it's kind of a cool display, if for no other reason than it's got a lot of cool moving parts. So, you know, guys like that sort of thing. Apparently they're letting people go up and inside of the truck and whatnot, where I'm sure a lot of the displays and everything are for the operators. And one of the things that you would use something like this for, of course, is when you've got weather cells in a particular area, like you're chasing tornadoes, or you want to get close to the action, say for a hurricane. This is where something like that would be especially useful. So really kind of cool. I love the satellite dish, which is their radar dish actually. It's not a satellite dish.
You're distracted, you can't do either thing that you're trying to do particularly well, right? So you guys were kind of having a little bit of trouble holding your brain activity probably going and also you didn't get to click as much as you can. So even when it's like a stupidly easy thing to do, it's still kind of hard.
Yeah. Very close. Almost. That's pretty hard. Your brain's really complex. I was just curious. Yeah. Vessels in the academic research suite. This is how we conduct oceanographic research off these vessels. This features one of our newest vessels. The Navy actually built this, and it's for use for all oceanographic researchers. And here's another one that operates the Alvin operates off the Atlantis.
Okay.
RV Sikuliak is one of our newest vessels. It works up in the Arctic. It's ice strengthened, so it can work around the ice.
Great.
And autonomous vehicle Sentry.
is
Very
being
cool.
sent.
That is our interactive experience with the kids here. Get a marker, mark the material, win a chocolate. So this is actually the culmination of everyone within a half-hour period yesterday morning. That's about 200 kids, half hour.
Yeah, and so it actually is, there's a setting that you can enter, it's called base mode, and so instead of transitioning up to the second layer, you continue to slowly go up, and it's just one layer wide, and it builds it all the way to the top. And you know, this is one of the more wow factor, just cool stuff. But this is another example of the precision that our machines can achieve.
Wow.
This was printed in one single go. As you can see, the parts are close enough that they can fit perfectly and rotate with precision accuracy, but they're far enough apart so that they can actually function independently. Many of the other machines that you'll see that advertise themselves as, you know, top performance machines will produce a beautiful part, but it does not function.
Move.
Yeah, and somebody came up to me, they said, oh, that's a different material. Well, no, this is the same material printed on our machine. So we are the 3D printer manufacturer that focuses on solving the problems of our customers, meeting their needs, and building the best machine and the best 3D printing experience that we can. A lot of people will tell you, plug and play, you know, we have an easy to use machine. Plug and play isn't necessarily what you want. If you want to be able to control what your results are, you need to have that level of involvement. And so in addition, we are a technology company. We focus on producing the best machines that we can. So online or in store, one of our biggest jobs is
Nice. And so this is an example of the same thing.
Yeah, so this is
Two strong neodymium magnets, a battery, and a copper wire, which is a conductor. So the energy is traveling through the copper wire and it's spinning.
and so we have an experiment.
Now, I said that the purpose of this expo was to encourage young people into studying technology, engineering, and math and science. Well, obviously, one of our most famous, well-known technological institutes here in the United States, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, is represented in force. And they've got a whole booth. It's kind of closed off here, but they're letting everybody in, but they've got it kind of set up so it's a little secretive. But they are here in force to represent one of the finest engineering schools in the United States. I don't know what they're making, but it smells funny. School of Engineering right here in the corner. Obviously, probably the most famous of the institutes at MIT. The Department of Chemistry is represented here. And of course, robotics.
Cheaper to go buy one, but still cheaper to go buy one right now. But those machines have come a really, really long way in a short time. They've come way down in price. The small one is $1,300. The medium-sized one is $2,500, and the large one is $3,000.
3 is thermodynamics.
Yeah, thermodynamics,
And we have modern physics.
then we have an intro to modern course, and then more.
Wait, so you get a whole semester of thermal at the intro level?
We
it's
call
mixed.
it physical materials and properties.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of thermal, but there are some other stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay, folks, now how creepy is that?
So this is a thermo detector. It measures heat. The human body is going to be more warm than everything else. And then if you look at the camera, which isn't that warm, it's going to be blue and yellow, along with your clothes and your hair. There it is.
It's like my hands and my beard are on fire. Thanks, guys.
No problem.
As I said, the Walter T. Washington Convention Center is a huge place, as you can see by this fighter jet sitting indoors behind me. The United States Air Force has a presence here. Obviously, they're trying to get young men and women interested in science and technology, not just for pilots, but for all the support crew, all the background people that help keep our Air Force in the air. They have a rapid strike simulator back here. It's a full motion simulator mounted in a semi truck. They have the entire tractor trailer here inside. People are waiting in line to ride in this full motion simulator. I mean, this place is absolutely huge, and there's a little bit of everything. Now we're going to try and swing around here the other side. I had mentioned that Lockheed Martin had a presence here, and you can see here in the background that Lockheed has a big presence here with all kinds of different displays and people to talk to about science and technology education and the opportunities that it'll present to you after your education is complete. Okay, now folks, this is something kind of funky. These are robotic jellyfish. And this huge tank here inside. They're really quite lovely, although I'm not a big fan of jellyfish, having been stung by one down in Florida. So the idea of actually building more is, I don't know, I wouldn't have done it, but they did. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of robotics here, a lot of high-tech moving things. KUKA Robotics. KUKA builds 6-axis industrial robots. And at one point in my career, I actually used to design what's called an end effector. This is the part that would actually attach to the wrist that does the physical work. And this was in the automotive industry for moving automotive panels. They've got a fully operating display of a small KUKA robot here. And you can see the spindle on the end. And this is actually that little silver connection point is called the wrist. And the piece on the end is the end effector, part that does the work. It was rather interesting work, and you do a full motion study at the time to show where the tool, the workpiece, was going to go in space so it didn't crash, it didn't hit into anything or anyone. Now, interestingly enough, I also worked at Universal Orlando, and I don't know that they used KUKA robots, but they're now using 6-axis robots in theme park rides, and the Harry Potter ride actually incorporates a robot very similar to this type. So some of you may remember from about 3 years ago that one of our episodes was actually done down in Cocoa, Florida, for a night launch of a SpaceX rocket. And of course, SpaceX also has a pavilion here and is represented, and they have some pretty cool small models of some of their rockets. So that was kind of cool because it's something that we've actually done a episode on about an actual live event in Florida.
A rather curious apparatus, I must say, madam.
Well, this is a new invention, Sir Isaac Newton. This is our digital video camera. It's sort of like a painting very, very fast.
I presume it still uses lenses?
Yes, it
The
does.
principles of optics are still in order, I think.
Absolutely. Now, I've always wondered how you felt about Leibniz trying to steal the credit for inventing the calculus.
Yes, I did see that there's a booth here by something known as the German School, and I am waiting to see if Leibniz dare show his face.
That's terrible.
Because it is fluxions, and it always will be fluxions.
Well, in my book, Sir Isaac Newton always invented the calculus and happens to celebrate his birthday on December 25th.
Indeed. It's very flattering to be so well recognized. Perhaps you've read one of my biographies.
Oh, no, absolutely, sir. I'm a huge fan.
Well,
I'm a huge fan.
It's a great pleasure to meet you.
And also was in charge of the Bank of England, at which time that the pound became known as sterling, not because it was made of silver, but...
Oh, it's because they were... And my greatest achievement of working as the master of the mint was the notion of trying to come up with ways to thwart the works of counterfeiters.
There you go.
And
the purity of the pound became known as sterling.
Indeed it is.
Sir Isaac, thank you so much.
It is a great pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
We're also being videotaped by everyone. Okay.
Coming to these kinds of events and just playing around and so kids to get inspired to build their own robotic robots. So coming home, I'm coming home.
So I make videos on YouTube with my brother. I've been doing it for a really long time. Neither of these people are my brother. My brother is, in addition to being a YouTube guy, he wrote some books. And so I'm establishing my credibility, and I'm saying I'm on this stage because I make YouTube videos and they're popular. But it's more complicated than that, because why do I make YouTube videos and they're popular? Maybe because I'm super driven. I'm super driven to compete with an older brother who's more successful than me.
So this was the big holy crap of surprises at the Science and Engineering Expo, and that is Hank Green from the Vlog Brothers, from SciShow, from a whole bunch of other things, is here on the Einstein stage talking live. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to actually meet him in person, but it's very cool to see him in person.
We just make it free, and people really like it. And if you want to check it out, youtube.com/Crash Course. It's the thing that I'm most proud of that I've ever done in the world, and I'm really glad it exists. So, a lot of people watch our videos, continue to establish my credibility. I did some math. 1.5 billion video views, about 6 minutes per view because people don't watch the whole things all the time. That's 17,000 years spent watching my videos. Once you do this calculation, it's very difficult to undo the calculation and not have that always be a thing in your head, that you've killed 220 people. 17,000 years, that's the lifespan of 220 people. So I hope that it was worth it for those 220 people who I've killed through watching my videos. And so that's my credibility establishment. Now moving on to the question why I'm on this stage. The easy answer is because it's what we do. It wouldn't be as much of a problem if your eyes weren't in the middle of your head.
Yay, we got to see Hank
Looking at the
live.
back of someone
All
else's
right,
head. If your
Hank.
eyes sat on the top of your head all the time, this wouldn't be an issue. Voila, problems.
So I'd like to thank you for joining us here on the Real United States at the 2016 Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics Expo, downtown Washington, D.C. I hope you've had some interesting experiences in seeing some of the displays and the cool stuff they've got here. I certainly wasn't expecting to see big-time YouTuber Hank Green here. That was kind of cool. So there was a lot of very interesting and cool experiences here, and we had a great time. So if you got questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. I love hearing from all of you. I try to get back to everybody I can. If you're new here, please pick subscribe and come along for the adventure. We love having everybody with us. And as always, thank you for watching.